Good morning and welcome to Crypto Posse, June 2025. Let's keep it alive. Let's put it in overdrive. The bottom line is we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, and we're going to get to it, but not before I get with the posse. How's the posse doing today?
Good.
How's it going?
Good, man. How
You
are you
know,
guys?
we're doing really good. I'm doing really good. Sounds like everyone's doing good because all I hear is good, good, good. But the question is, let's get specific. I want to hear a little bit about what you guys did this weekend. I don't know, Jeff, you told me something about doing some, what kind of palms you got out front?
Oh, I got all sorts of palms, and this is my second week, and I got about 2 more weeks because I got a pretty big yard full of palms. And when you keep up on them, you don't have to pay somebody a bunch of money to come trim them at once because it's a lot to put into a dumpster. So every week, beginning of summer, I do the same thing: cut a couple palms, and I wish I could have went to the beach or did something else, but that's what I did. Went to the gym and palms.
You got a regular palm garden over there. Sounds really
Yeah.
cool. Well, that sounds, not like the funnest thing you could do over the weekend, but
No.
sounds cool though. What, and you said you went to the gym and kept
Yeah.
that dream alive. Well, good for you,
Yep.
man.
Went every day.
Porter, what about Mike? What about you?
It was my girlfriend's birthday, so I just kind of cruised with her. We went for a nice hike, and we live in an area where we're backed up to the open space, and there's some hiking trails and beautiful waterfall. So we hiked down to the waterfall, and then we just went out to dinner went to an Italian restaurant and had some good food, and just kind of chilled.
Oh my gosh, I love Italian food. Oh my gosh, I love Italian food. Was it good? Good Italian food? Average or good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's a place called Spumoni. Um, it was good. I had like a seafood medley pasta with some shrimp, scallops, and it was pretty yummy.
Sounds good. Spumoni, I'm going to be calling you for a hookup. Um, we're giving them plugs, but that sounds really good. But Will, what happened with you this weekend? Anything fun or interesting?
Yes, sir. I try to do something every week, something new, and I got invited to a really rad birthday party that was in the local wineries. Just beautiful scene. I'm gonna share some photos with you guys of just this beautiful, serene, open valley full of just nothing but good vibes, celebrating somebody who ended up graduating to be an eye doctor. So it was kind of a really fun, exciting event to just chill, man. Have a couple glasses of wine, some good food, some good people.
Wow. Well, think of this combo for the weekend for the posse. Okay, we got palms, we got we got hiking and pasta. Top it off with some wine. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Sounds really good. But anyway, so psyched everyone had a good weekend, and here we go. Let's get going. We got great topics to talk about today. Very exciting stuff. And from what I understand, Mike's going to talk about the Clarity Act and more and more. But let's see what we got, Mister.
Basically, what it is in a nutshell, without getting too deep into it, it's um, a regulation that's going to you know, give each entity its guidelines as far as what coins they oversee. The CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Committee, will oversee Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are recognized as commodities because there's future trading on, like Bitcoin on the CME. Um, and then the other coins will be governed by the SEC. So it's just really bringing clarity to the different offices and who's going to govern, the different tokens.
So it seems like it's really well named. You know what I'm saying? It's called the Clarity Act, and it's all about clarity. So I mean that makes sense. But and what would that do for us? Is in a sense, how does that relate to us as like say purchasers or buyers or consumers or whatever it is?
It gives provisional registration rules for the crypto exchanges and token issuers, along with disclosure requirements. Um, it gives secondary markets crypto tokens without labeling them as securities a big win. Um, uh, Also, it provides a safe harbor for DeFi, protecting developers, validators, and self-custody wallets. Um, And so, it just basically will give clear guidelines, exactly what it says, the Clarity Act. It'll give clear guidelines to the crypto space going forward. We've had several other different bills come through, like the Stablecoin Act, which should be getting passed real soon, I believe. And then, interesting thing that we had was the IPO of Circle on the New York Stock Exchange this week. Did really well. It had an initial share price of $31. It was estimated to come out about 58 to 50, to 56 to $58, and ended up the first share price was $61, and it ran up all the way to about $134 was the high for the day. So, it was a great day for Wall Street and a great day for, the crypto community having, a stable coin. For those that don't know who Circle is, they're the issuer of USDC. So, it's a great day for crypto, and it was a great day for Wall Street, and for future adoption and institutional interest. So that was a huge development that happened this last week.
Well, that sounds really exciting for everybody. I mean, I can't see the downside of that. It doesn't sound like they establish regulation as much as they kind of facilitate regulation, right? They kind of put it into play. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the cops don't make the rules, but they enforce the rules kind of vibe. Is that what I'm picking up on? Is that what you're spraying, mister?
We've always been in the wild, wild west as far as crypto goes, and just to have the clarity and, the set guidelines of who's going to govern each, different segment of crypto is great moving forward. I think it's great for the confidence of first time investors, and also for institutional investors to know that there's clarity, and it's got solid rules.
And I like the fact that you just mentioned the wild, wild west, because if my audience, our audience, the Posse's audience could notice, look what I'm wearing today. The brand new shirt with a wild, wild west theme. The way the lettering is, the whole vibe, it's the wild, wild west right on my chest, baby. So if anyone likes these t-shirts, let me know, okay? Because I got a few. Anyway, so what do you guys got? Any feedback on what Mike's Freak Show is all about today?
Very key data points. And if I was listening to what Mike just shared, I'd be taking some notes because of what you just shared, being they're laying out the framework. Don't get lost in the sauce. I would be looking to continue to DCA, especially on these pullbacks, and the rest is going to be history sooner than later.
I like that. Very direct, very to the point, validation, big time. And I don't know if Jeff wants to feed into any of this topic, but the mic is all yours, mister.
Well, pretty much everything they had said. We saw Bitcoin come back up to the top, come back down a little bit, and I do agree with Will. Might be the time now where if you want to get into some of these before it gets too late, if you buy in, you can always DCA and start stockpiling some of these great assets that are available.
Sounds like an exciting time, especially coming forward. I don't think we've hit that big time bull market yet that we thought we would, but we do feel maybe intuitively somewhere along the lines that still in 2025 that, we may be heading in the right direction.
The energy is definitely building for that.
Yeah, it seems like it's there. Bitcoin's doing it. XRP's trying to do it. XRP, and then Ethereum is doing it as well, and Solana, but I think Bitcoin's definitely the one to watch.
Yeah, the front runner, the leader of the program, the gold standard of crypto. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's just been a real interesting first part of the year. I don't think it, tapped into the expectations that we have, but so much for expectations. I mean, I think that's the whole thing about expectations in the first place. Expectations suck. Let's just keep it to the moment. I mean, yeah, let's read the charts and try to data, but no one's got a crystal ball, and all we could do is the best we could do. So, Mike, I got to say, awesome topic. Just really feeling that. Thank you so much for that. And I think we're going to switch gears over to, I think Jeff's got something to talk about. It has something to do with like coin or con, baby.
So meme coins are definitely coming out on pre-sale and small exchanges. And as traders, we're always looking for that 10 or 100 times somewhere. We just want to get it once. But you have to DYOR, which means do your own research. So you don't take your investment and lose everything. So the one thing that you definitely want to do is check liquidity. So low liquidity equals high risk of rug pulls. And you want to go to DEX tools to look for that liquidity.
Tell us a little bit for the, people like myself or people that don't even, aren't totally up to speed with what liquidity is. I know you've explained it before, but I think it's a very important element of what you're talking about. So if you're going to be checking the liquidity, give me a summarized version of what that means.
Well, liquidity is what they have when you to pay you when you invest into that token. And market cap would be the total. So if you look into liquidity per each exchange, and it has like $5,000, and you go to put 10,000 in, you're not going to get your money. It would have to ramp up 10 times to build the volume, get the volume moving to be able to pull liquidity.
Say for instance on that, what would liquidity be, say for instance, for something big like XRP?
Pretty massive. I don't think most people would have a problem with that. I do not have those numbers. Do any of you guys have any guesstimations?
If you want, I can look it up real quick, but
No, I was just saying XRP, like it does whoever. I'm just saying like to give the audience an idea of like, maybe on the smallest one and a pretty big one, like what would liquidity be that would be something that would, make you concerned? Like what sort of, little meme coin or something that someone was coming in hot on and they only had $20 liquidity in and you're over there, oh, no thanks. Or a big one, like I just mentioned XRP, but it could be Ethereum or Bitcoin or it could be Solana or whatever, maybe those are like 10 million or something. I don't know. It would just be awesome for the audience to hear the both in the high and low of something like that.
They're definitely on the larger coins. You're not going to have any, in general, you're not going to have any liquidity issues with those coins. I think that's why, they're considered a little bit more stable and yeah, definitely. With any of those top five, you wouldn't have any liquidity issues. I mean, you could buy as many tokens as you'd like and sell them at any given time.
Okay, but it's like on the small ones that you might be a little concerned with, like, hey, okay, I found this little, some sort of really obscure coin, and you feel it, you're feeling it, and you just go, I want to come in hot on this thing because you just feel like it's going to take a run. And all of a sudden you put, just say even 10K in, and it's only got $50 in the bank. I'm just saying that can't be a good thing.
You never know. And I know you guys, Jeff and Mike, have heard this. Tell me if you've heard about this coin, Joseph. But a good example on the flip side of something like XRP, the top five where you, like Mike said, you're not going to have that issue. You could potentially start looking up a lot of these coins on Coin Market Cap, and you'll run into coins like Fart Coin. We had a coin, I think wasn't it called Unicorn Fart Dust, and it's like this shiny coin syndrome. People see this shiny thing on the ground and it's like they gotta have it, so they deep dive and they throw too much money in it. And yeah, there's a potential where you can make the 50x gains if you're early, but you don't want to be rugged on Unicorn Fart Coin. That would suck.
Yeah, that would.
And
be
then
bad.
the liquidity's gone, and then your 10 grand, you try and pull that out like Jeff's talking about, and you can't.
Yeah, there's
Why?
nothing there because they got no
nothing
cashish
there.
in the bank, mister. I mean, it's like, to me, I look at it like this. I go to the horse track, okay. Maybe I put it, I don't go big. I put $5 on a horse, I'm not going big. I'm just going for entertainment. Say I put $5 on a favorite, it's got really good odds, whatever. But then I might take $5 or $2. I'm going to put $2 on like a super long shot, So maybe someone comes in and puts, hypothetical numbers. Maybe they put 10 grand on XRP, 10 grand on Ethereum, but maybe they come in and put 1,000 on a couple of just high risk, unicorn fart dust. Okay. Just because then, hey, what if it hits? It's a 50X, We're taking a one-way trip to Tahiti, baby. Okay. But if not, it's not that big of a loss, hedging your bets or whatever. I don't know. I just think it's exciting. Jeff, I want to let you get back on your mission because I kind of derailed you and took a left turn at that intersection. I'm coming back, directing traffic. Let's keep going. Sorry about that.
Okay, so your best bet with all that said is if you are going to get into one of these before pre-sale or on a small exchange and the liquidity is low and you put some money in is when it's trading high in volume because money's coming in. So that would be your best chance. Now, if you sit and it starts going down, you could have a chance of leaving some money in there. So you also want to check for token distribution. You can check that on Etherscan. So what you want is a bunch of small holders. So when you see a pie, you want all those little pieces of pie to be distributed evenly, meaning nobody has control. What you don't want is big chunks of that pie being top holders, because guess what? Now they can control it. They can, obviously they're not going to buy. They're going to probably sell and take profits and leave you with nothing.
They're going to leave you holding your fart dust. Okay.
Dust.
And then it sounds to me like what you said, you can have dust in your fart. Here's the thing is that I think what it sounded like you were saying is you really like to jump on the freeway. It's the opposite of driving your car. Like we're trying to avoid traffic. Like, oh my God, it's 5:00. I don't want to jump on the freeway right now. Sounds to me like what you're saying is when it's totally stacked, packed, and racked, you want to jump on the freeway, baby.
Yeah, that's always the best unless you take the chance for long term. But for me, I don't think that's a wise choice. And one other thing is you want team transparency. So you want to make sure the team is visible and they're actively trying to build the project. You don't want any lazy developers doing nothing. And a lot of that is community and social hype. So meme coins live and die by community strength. It's different than Bitcoin with institutional money. So you want to look on Telegram, you want to look on Twitter and X and Discord for activity. And with meme coins, you're kind of looking for something called organic growth and real engagement. They enjoy the project, they're pushing the project. What you don't want is paid followers that's just going off of hype.
Okay.
Those are definitely things you should look for.
I got to say, that sounded really good. And I have a feeling Will is ready to step up to that subject.
Not just that, man. The whole time I'm thinking, you don't want Will Ferrell from Wedding Crasher in his mom's basement as the developer of a coin yelling, "Mom, is the meatloaf ready?"
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
What is she doing? I never know what she's doing.
Ma, the meatloaf!
Which is why you want to do your research, just like Jeff said.
Yeah.
So you don't have somebody like that in the basement doing nothing but waiting for the meatloaf.
That is such a good analogy. Oh my gosh, man.
It's classic, yeah.
Mike, you got any feedback on that whole freak show?
Gee, I don't know, man. Meatloaf sounds pretty good.
It really does. I know it's the morning, but for some reason you just say meatloaf. I just had breakfast. I'm already hungry again. I think you guys know me. I eat a lot of food. But yeah, that's really fun stuff. So I would just take once again, I think I'll come to this intersection and take a right turn and say, Will, I know you got something to say today about smoke and mirrors, and I've just been waiting for days to hear more about this. Let's do this on the Posse.
I don't know what's going through my mind, but the moment I hear smoke and mirrors, the first thing that comes to mind is this is not a Snoop Dogg concert, so don't get lost in the smoke, people. Don't get lost in the crowd. No, but in all seriousness, don't get lost in the smoke and mirrors. I mean, we've got so much going on in the background. We've got from the infrastructure being built out to what's happening on the world stage with all these main characters from Elon Musk to your Uncle Donnie Trump. They've got this feud going on, right? They're the best of friends. And then you've got all this drama playing out on the world stage, which that's the smoke, right? Don't get lost in all that. And we're at a very pivotal time, like Mike mentioned, where I would be really focused and hypered with a plan, a strategy in place of what I'm going to do when the chart shows me when to press the buy and when to press the sell button. So just simply put, don't get lost in what's happening on the world stage, because we've got Uncle Donnie's birthday coming up. It's June 14th. We've got the next FOMC meeting, which, that has a lot to do with the interest rates coming up on June 18th. So you could see how it'd be so easy to get lost in the smoke and the mirrors and not have this strategy in play, which is simply this. I think we're at a point where when we're talking about speculative altcoins, and not like the unicorn fart dust, but more like Ethereum, the Solana, the XRP, the more known names, I think they're going to really do well in this run that we're about to see. Why? Because they have the clarity for the institutions to swing the money from Bitcoin into these other coins through the ETFs. And if you are positioned, you're going to make a lot of cash. You're going to create some extra freedom for yourself. And that is the message I just want to share.
I love that message.
Don't get lost.
Don't get lost in the smoke and the mirrors. Pay attention, do your own research, move on your instincts, but don't let those be influenced by the masses.
Yeah, we're already seeing a little bit of rotation, money pulling out of Bitcoin and going into Ethereum, Solana, some of the other bigger names. We've seen like 15 straight days of inflows into Ethereum, and Ethereum's, and Solana have done pretty well, as Bitcoin has made this last little run after, all-time highs a couple weeks ago. And then, Bitcoin dipped to 100,003 and has since rallied, and it's kind of pulled the altcoins up with it.
What was Bitcoin's peak a couple weeks ago?
Roughly 112, 111.9, I think, 940 or something.
Okay, so let's call it 112, and it went back down to 103.
It went down to 100,300.
Oh, damn.
Just about
Wow.
roughly about a week ago.
Wow. So someone could really, let's call it 112. Someone could have really just kind of, tapped out at 112, hung out for a little bit, went to the beach, got barreled, came back, and all of a sudden it's like down almost at 100,000. Buy in then, and then just take the next run, and done pretty well. Of course, all in hindsight. I know I'm always getting weird with the hindsight thing, but it just gets kind of exciting to think about those $10 to $12 shifts. Could be some. I believe that's going to happen a bunch of times if we start seeing the trends.
Wait till we break out into full-blown euphoria. That's when we are gonna see what Mike is talking about. As a speculative altcoin investor, you want to pay attention to the Bitcoin dominance chart, because once the Bitcoin dominance starts to fall, I think it's worth taking a risk to buy some of these coins that are at a discount to potentially go up 300 to 500%. Of course, this is not financial advice, but it's what I'm doing.
Wow. Right here on Crypto Posse, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Listen, watch, run for the hills. No, just run from the hills. Whatever you do, run. Okay. To it or from it, whatever feels right for you. That's the thing is everyone's got a different reality, a different situation financially, a different set of balls, a different set of instincts. I mean, it's hard to predict, but we don't do that on Crypto Posse. What we do talk about is where we're at. Like I said, 4 self-taught guys just trying to relate, be relatable. And I think we do that this episode. I'm feeling very good about.
Yeah, man, had a ton of fun with you guys. Straight facts, figures, and logic. That's what we're presenting here. It's beautiful.
Hopefully with a little bit of humor, and then have a little bit of fun, talk about our lives in the, outside of the crypto world, like what we're doing. And, I just really like it, where we're going. I just got to say, another killer episode of Crypto Posse. Remember, guys and girls, comment, like, subscribe. Let's do this. And see you next week, baby. Peace out.